In this video, I'll talk a little bit more about Qabbalistic Angels Astrology and some examples in real life of people that have benefited from the knowledge of these calculations or these types of horoscopes. In one example, I was with a young girl in a very large city, and she was talking about vocation and about her studies. And in this instance, she had talked about how she was studying books on child psychology and psychology books in general for the specific purpose of being a good mother, and for the because she wanted to have children and she wanted to raise these children with knowledge of psychology and to express not only the caring of children, but the raising of children, but to know more about child psychology and how to do it from that perspective. So after this talk, I told her that this is something that I do, Qabbalistic Angels Astrology and these calculations and astrology in general, and that I would take her birth date, her exact time of birth, and city of birth. And it was very fascinating because we come back and one of her main angels in her Qabbalistic Angels horoscope was over the upbringing or raising of children. So when she heard this, it was quite fascinating because already it was an impulse. It was a very, not only an impulse, it was a strong desire in her life to do this. Another interesting example is that I have a friend that we use the adept method of applying Qabbalistic Angels Astrology to the Western horoscope. And in the 10th house of public imaging career, he has a planet where in the same degree is the rulership of an angel who's an Earth's own angel, whose specialty or area of knowledge is over television. And it can be television, the lenses, the filming, or just television. And so this was a very interesting thing because this is an area that he's always wanted to do something with, and that later, after having his horoscope done, calculated in this way, he actually did do some film work. And as a professional musician, was on television in Japan, and not only on television in playing his music, but in advertising work as well. So this is a fascinating thing about this. On another video, I talk about another young girl I had met who had a passion and actually a career in interpreting and translating and live interpreting. And she had spoke, I think, 3 different, maybe 4 different languages. And when we did the Qabbalistic Angels horoscope calculations for using her birth date, time, and place of birth, it was a fascinating thing because one of her angels was over the mastery of languages. And at that time she was attending a language institute. She was I had met her at an English practice discussion group, and she had an astrology book as well as an English dictionary. And in fact, she had 2 astrology books. One was on erotic astrology, and interestingly enough, she had another angelic intelligence over erotic and sexual mysteries. So this was yet another affirmation that these areas of interest, literally the books she carried with her, the subjects that she had studied, and in one area a career that she had not only maintained till that time, but she went on to gain employment offer in another country to work as an interpreter for the United Nations. And one last and final example, I had a client one time who was a professional bodybuilder and who counseled and consulted people on nutrition, and specifically a lot of situations where they needed diet and were dealing with very serious health issues in some cases. And in real life, you can say, or full-time, her educational background and her former work, or her full-time work, was was a chemist, was in chemistry, and her angelic intelligence, Earth's own intelligence, and other angels were involving over agricultural chemistry. So this is a way to interpret this particular situation as someone who could take the knowledge of plants, or literally of diet or agriculture, and apply it to altering the chemistry of the body, which is actually something specifically that she did, and yet in the horoscope was reflected as angelic intelligence over agriculture or agricultural and chemistry. So this is just a few extra examples that I'm sharing in this video. I hope it's helped you to have further awareness of some practical applications of Qabbalistic Angels Astrology. Thank you for listening. Be sure to leave a comment below and subscribe to my channel.